It's your brother Mindbender in the building, aka John Mack, here to restore the J in hip hop journalism. And we got a whole lot of shit to talk about today. Starting off with my man, Tupac Shakur, and his many body doubles. You know, for a long time, people have been wondering, is Tupac dead? Is Tupac alive? Did somebody set Tupac up? Is the whole story being told? Is only half the story being told? And it's very similar to the Nipsey Hussle case, where you know only half the story is being told. So, on that note, let's dig a little deeper.
Couple of guys for him, and Reggie pulled him off of me. And after it happened, I told him to send 5 guys from the club to there, and they never sent nobody.
Yeah.
And Frank blocked his hand, purposely. Later, he told us at the streets. They told him to do it, you know?
Yeah.
It's got to take Frank up so bad he died, you know?
Well.
And you know, the sad thing about it, Orlando wasn't even the shooter, you know?
No, exactly. No.
When the story was being told, it was be told as if when they roll on side of Tupac now, Tupac appeared to be reaching back, because Tupac was told that there was a drop box right behind the seat in the console, and that drop box had 2 guns in it.
So, what is the narrative that you're trying to spin here, Eugene Deal? Because it seems that you're alleging that Tupac was reaching for a weapon, and that's when whoever was in the Cadillac in the back seat started to discharge his weapon, Tupac and Suge Knight. But what it really seems like to me is that you're playing the opposite side of the fence of Greg Kading, and you guys are trying to draw a narrative and either box somebody in or lock somebody out. Now, let's talk about what Keefe D said. Keefe D said Tupac was standing out of the sunroof like he was in a parade or in a caravan or something. And by the time the Cadillac pulled alongside Tupac, it's kind of fuzzy right there, but that he sits back down in the seat. And so what Eugene Deal is alleging here, along with Keefe D and Greg Kading, is that Tupac then had the wherewithal to notice the Cadillac and reach in the back seat for a weapon. So that means that Tupac and Suge, while seeing the Cadillac pull up next to them, either identified that Baby Lane was in the back seat, or Suge recognized that Keefe D was in the front passenger seat, and that Tupac had enough time to look like he was reaching for a weapon in the back seat. And that's whoever was in the back seat started to let off on Pac and Suge. But what Suge Knight said was that the shooter wasn't even Orlando. So we got Orlando's uncle, an OG from Southside, blaming his nephew for the shooting. We have Suge Knight on the other side, who adamantly said it wasn't Orlando. Not only was it not Orlando, but there is a story that Keefe D told where he said Orlando called him and said, come down to such and such address. where Suge Knight and his lawyer and them is at, and bring some weapons. You said that was the time when Suge paid Orlando $60,000 to go in court and allege that he was trying to help Orlando, not attack him. And in which the MGM Grand footage, you cannot see Suge Knight attacking Orlando at all. I see Buntry and a few other assailants, but I can't positively identify Suge Knight. Now, back in the day, the narrative that they were trying to draw was that Suge Knight was Buntry, and that's what I thought. For years, I thought that was Suge. The tape is so fuzzy and so weird that you can't really tell who is who until the rats start coming out the woodworks and identifying who is who. But Eugene Deal is definitely trying to paint a fake narrative. Let's commence.
If you know Pac's history and what have he shown, having the individuals and the problems that he had with individuals, he wasn't going nowhere without no gun that was close to him. So when he got in that car with Suge, Suge let him know, listen here, we got this drop box right here. And Reggie spoke on it too. When they got the car back, the police didn't even know the guns was in the car. When they rolled him aside and he made that move, as Keefe D said, it seemed like he was going to reach to get something. That's when the person that Keefe D, or the person who had the gun, which they said they saw a big black arm. They saw a big black arm. They saw a big black arm.
I told you we went to the 662, so we're in the 662 chilling. Hammer came and told me, he said, "No, we gotta go to the hospital. Suge and them just got shot. Suge and Pac got shot." So we left and went to the hospital. And then when we got to the hospital, that's when I think we went in the bag and between the Outlaws and all them, and Gaddafi had told, that's when he told me what happened. He said, "I seen the low." He said, "The cold part about it is the nigga say, low, I was a light-skinned nigga looked something like you. I was a light-skinned nigga looked something like you."
So Eugene Deal, is this why Gaddafi was silenced? Because you, Keefe D, and Greg Kading have the same narrative while pretending to be against each other. But the only narrative that I heard was consistent was from Low MB, from the hip-hop group OFTB, which was signed to Death Row Records. They were in Vegas the night Tupac Shakur was shot and ambushed, and Gaddafi said it was a light-skinned man who looked similar to Low MB. And I already did commentary on this. I told you who I thought it was, especially when y'all start mentioning that Zip was in Las Vegas. I know you want to paint the narrative of Zip was a boss and he wouldn't have done this and he wouldn't have done that. But it's obvious that Biggie was in Vegas September 7th, which means that Wolf was probably in Vegas. Yeah. And you were probably in Vegas too, Eugene Deal.
Store bust.
I was a light-skinned nigga looked something like you. Store bust. That's the Gaddafi thing.
Come out the window and start firing. So I truly believe that Dre is the one who was the shooter.
Yeah, same people, same circle of people.
Yeah.
Have nothing to do with me, you know?
Yeah.
In this exchange between Suge and Michael Carlin, Suge states that if they understand what happened in the killing of Tupac, they would also understand the murder of Biggie.
He says it's the same circle of people.
Be a security guard. So how the fuck would he know the history of Death Row?
I told you we went to the 662, so we in the 662 chilling. Hammer came and told me, he say, "Lo, we gotta go to the hospital. Suge them just got shot. Suge and Pac got shot." So we left and went to the hospital. And then when we got to the hospital, that's when I think we went in the back and seen the Outlaws and all them, and Gaddafi had told, that's when he told me what happened. He said, "I seen the Lo," he said, "the cold part about it is the nigga say, Lo, I was a light-skinned nigga looked something like you." Store busting.
I was a light-skinned nigga looked something like you. Store busting. That's what Gaddafi told me.
All of the stories I heard,